Welcome to this explainer. Right now, we're setting a seriously dramatic stage. Picture this, the reigning world champions, La Albiceleste, touching down in North America to attempt one of the absolute rarest feats in all of sports, a back-to-back World Cup victory. We're going to unpack the history, the heartbreak, the massive redemption, and the monumental challenge that is waiting for Argentina in 2026.
36. I really want you to imagine that for a second. Waiting 36 long, agonizing years for the ultimate prize in your sport. Imagine generations of fans dreaming of it, finally winning it, and experiencing what feels like the perfect ending to football's greatest story. But now, imagine returning 4 years later, stepping back onto the pitch, and facing a world where literally every single team is targeting you, desperate to strip that crown away. Because, well, that's exactly where Argentina stands right now.
Okay, let's dive into this. Can they actually do it again? The stakes for 2026 are absolutely immense. To give you some context on just how difficult defending a World Cup is, only one nation has successfully repeated as champions in the last 64 years. That was Brazil, way back in 1962. History straight up tells us that repeating is nearly impossible. So, to figure out if Argentina can defy those odds, we first need to understand what fuels them.
Section 1. The weight of the crown. Argentina's football identity. To really get Argentina, you have to understand that they're fiercely unique. They aren't viewed as football's artists, but rather as its warriors.
From a very young age, Argentine players are taught a specific, intense mantra. It is war without weapons. Their entire culture is built on this foundation of passion, aggression, intelligence, and just raw emotional intensity. For them, football isn't mere entertainment. It's not just some game you play for fun on the weekend. It is survival. It's identity. It's national pride. This insane pressure cooker mentality has produced some of the sport's absolute fiercest competitors. When they pull on that white and sky blue shirt, they aren't just playing. They're going to battle.
Section 2. Football gods and myths, the baseline for greatness. You see, while many nations have legends, Argentina has actual myths who cast these monumental shadows over everyone else.
Consider the crazy dynamic between these two icons. Diego Maradona wasn't merely a player, he was football itself, a supreme national symbol. Meanwhile, Lionel Messi was essentially cast in the role of the chaser. Despite all his unbelievable, unprecedented club success, he had to endure years of claims from critics that he could never ever be greater than Maradona. And why? Simply because he hadn't yet delivered a World Cup to his country. He was basically chasing a ghost.
Now, to truly understand the weight of that trophy, we have to look back at how Argentina earned their stars in the first place. Their first came in 1978, when they hosted the tournament under enormous, almost desperate national pressure, eventually defeating the Netherlands in the final. However, keeping things completely objective here, it's important to note the lingering controversies surrounding that tournament. Critics still debate aspects of the 1978 event, specifically a 6-0 victory over Peru that allowed Argentina to reach the final. Even decades later, fans discuss this as one of World Cup history's biggest conspiracy debates.
But then came 1986, the Maradona tournament. Many believe this was literally the greatest individual World Cup ever played. In the quarterfinal against England, Maradona dragged Argentina to glory by doing the completely unthinkable. Within the span of just 4 minutes, he produced both football's greatest cheat, the infamous hand of God where he punched the ball into the net, and football's greatest goal, dribbling through half the English team. It immortalized him forever.
Section 3. Decades of heartbreak, the long drought. After the ultimate high of 1986, the music suddenly stopped, leading right into an agonizing era of growing pains.
The cumulative trauma was immense. What followed wasn't a dynasty, but a drought that felt like it was never going to end. A final loss in 1990, the Maradona doping scandal in '94, a group stage disaster in 2002, total humiliation by Germany in 2010, but the one that truly haunts them, 2014. They reached the final against Germany. Messi was brilliant, but in extra time, a single goal by Mario Götze and a crucial missed chance by Gonzalo Higuain separated them from immortality. The pain just kept growing and growing.
And eventually, that pain was directed squarely at one man. This became known as the Messi curse. The criticism became completely unbearable. People were actually saying he wasn't a true Argentine, that he cared more about his club, Barcelona, and that he could never be Maradona. Every single loss intensified this noise until, well, he broke. In 2016, after losing the Copa America final, Messi briefly retired from international football. It was a stunning moment.
Actually, it took millions of fans literally begging him to return for him to finally put the shirt back on. Section 4. The perfect ending. The Qatar redemption. Because the 2022 tournament started as a nightmare, but ended in a triumphant rewriting of history.
And thank goodness Messi came back, because it led us to the 2022 Qatar World Cup. Now, to earn their crown, they had to overcome a grueling gauntlet of powerhouses. Mexico, Poland, Australia, a thrilling battle with the Netherlands, a masterclass against Croatia, and finally, France, in what many consider to be the greatest World Cup final ever played. Argentina survived it all. When Messi finally lifted that trophy in Qatar, it completed what many call football's greatest career. But more importantly, it changed the narrative forever. Before Qatar, Messi was chasing Maradona. After Qatar, a massive shift occurred. The debate changed from whether he could match Maradona to the argument that he had finally, definitively surpassed him. The ghost was officially caught.
Section 5. The 2026 Challenge, returning to the battlefield. So, let's pivot to the present day. How do you rebuild a team that has already achieved the ultimate goal?
Well, the celebrations are over, and manager Lionel Scaloni has to prepare his squad for North America. You do it by blending the immortal with the hungry. Scaloni's squad requires a really delicate balance. You have the proven champions, the 2022 core, like Messi, Lautaro Martinez, and Emiliano Martinez, balanced directly against the fearless work rate of the next generation, like Nico Paz, Giuliano Simeone, and Enzo Fernandez. It's a critical mix of proven experience and high-energy youth.
Of course, formulating this squad hasn't come without immense scrutiny. We're seeing fierce fan debates right now surrounding Scaloni's loyalty to his proven players. Many supporters are openly debating the omissions of names like Buendia and Senesi, arguing strongly for fresh blood. Compounding these selection headaches was the really unfortunate late injury setback to defender Leonardo Balerdi just before the tournament. But hey, as always, every single decision a World Cup manager makes is placed under a massive microscope.
Tactically speaking, their biggest strength is undeniably team chemistry and cohesion. Scaloni has created a highly united culture where every single player knows their exact role. However, the most glaring weakness staring them right in the face is an aging core. Key players from 2022, guys like Otamendi, DePaul, Tagliafico, and of course Messi himself, are older now. The looming physical question is simply, can they maintain those elite levels through another grueling World Cup run?
Which brings us to a phenomenon that absolutely terrifies defending champions: the champion's curse. Modern football has been brutal to title holders. Just look at this list of victims: France in 2002, Italy in 2010, Spain in 2014, and Germany in 2018. All of them arrived as champions, and all of them struggled badly, often crashing out in the group stages. It leaves fans everywhere wondering, is Argentina destined to be the next victim of the curse?
And sitting at the very center of all this is the massive debate around Lionel Messi's final dance. He'll be turning 39 during the tournament, participating in a record 6th World Cup. Objectively, there are two sides to this debate. Critics argue that at 39, he simply cannot press anymore and cannot play every single match. Supporters, however, argue that his unmatched intelligence more than makes up for his physical age and that big moments require big players. It is, without a doubt, the dominant storyline of the tournament.
Which leaves us with this final provocative thought. Argentina arrives carrying football's most precious crown. They have the talent, they have the manager, and they certainly know how to win. But history is standing directly in their way. Defending the crown is the absolute hardest task in sport. The question is no longer whether Argentina are champions. The ultimate question you should take away from this explainer is, can they stay champions? Thanks for tuning in, and keep your eyes on the pitch.